Hello and welcome to another episode of the Steve and Dan Show. My name's Dan Holloway. This is my co-host Steve Herbert. I'm joining you today from not so sunny UK. Basically got back from 7 weeks travelling over America, and I've just had a bit of a reality check because it's grey and miserable and rainy. But there you go. It's England. What can we expect? Not quite America. I think we've just discussed that as a tagline. That's another story.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my name's Dan Holloway. If you haven't watched this show before, if this is the first time you're seeing this, I come from a background in corporate software sales and was basically working 70 hours per week and feeling very unfulfilled. You know, earning good money, but really there was, what I was doing wasn't giving me happiness or any real satisfaction. And I wanted more with my life. And that was when I realized that any income goal that I'd had in the past, whether 30K or 50K or, 100K or whatever, as soon as I reached that goal, nothing would really change. So why did I think that an even higher income goal in the future, just working for some, high level software company in London, was going to bring me fulfillment? It wasn't. So when I had that realization, I knew I had to change my path. That was when I discovered SFM. It's now 13 months ago, I think, since I started my own online business. So it's been a very exciting journey. Steve, if you'd like to give a little bit of an intro of yourself as well, please, for anyone watching for the first time.
Sure. Happy to. Thanks, Dan. Husband, father, entrepreneur, started and grown several businesses over the years. And I love the freedom that I get with that, the ability to move my schedule around to be able to spend time with my family. But I pretty quickly realized that the ultimate goal of having true freedom, I wasn't getting that in running a traditional business, brick and mortar business, if you will. My clients ruled my life. If I wanted more income, I could work harder and make more money, but it took me away from my family, which was the primary reason that I was in business for myself, is to be able to spend time with my family and do the things that I really wanted to do. And it seemed to be, my goal of having my business was tearing me away from my other goal of my family. So that just I couldn't sustain that. I wasn't going to keep doing that. Went searching for something and found the SFM. So that's my story. That's how I kind of got to here. So Landria, we give pretty short bios of ourselves because people see us every week and they don't want to hear the whole thing. You, on the other hand, special guest today, would you give a little bit of your background, maybe more detail than Dan and I have?
So thanks for having me, because I love you guys and you have such a great energy. So it's always good to be with you. So I was really excited to be on the show. And of course, it's really great to always share stories with other people to encourage them to, break past whatever boundaries they've created. And so basically, and obviously my life it goes way beyond this, but I spent 25 years as an investment banker working on Wall Street. And I worked with business owners. I was in private equity, which means I worked with company owners from, startups to billion-dollar companies. I worked with celebrities and billionaires and pro athletes, and I was in that whole jet set lifestyle, which was very exciting and also extremely stressful. And after 25 years, I got a real good handle on how businesses work, and especially the mindset of entrepreneurs. I was always around those high-level, self-motivated people at all times. I was never exposed to the general public at all. I didn't even know what that mindset was. But I did know that world of owning a business was extremely stressful. I actually owned my own investment banking firm most of the time. Most of my career, I went over to that. And I had a small stint as senior vice president of wealth management for Neuberger Berman, which was owned by Lehman Brothers, and realized the last thing I wanted to do was work for another company. And I saw the real restrictions of that, which I'd never experienced either. So I got a taste of that whole corporate, powerful world, but how the decisions that they made, I was supposed to implement whether I agreed with them or not. And that was just not me. So I was able to get back out of that and go back into private equity. But a series of events happened that there's always a series of events, right? And that really prompts people to really either think about it and never do anything about it, dying unfulfilled, or they say, I'm going to go for it. And I decided to go for it. So I had several, well, actually my entire family passed away. And I got a divorce. Then my mother died a few months later. My dog died a few months later. This is not a country song, I swear. This is
sounds like it, doesn't it?
I'm in Georgia. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I laugh and people are going, why are you laughing? I'm like, because, this is life, right? And then a few months later, my dad died. A few months later, my cousin died. And then a few months later, which was just recently, my brother died, who was only a year older than me. And I went, okay, the world has gone crazy. And it was just a whole timing thing. The thing that really made me decide that I had to even push further, because I'm a real go-getter. I just have a natural ability to go after things. And I'll share a little story with you about that in a minute. But I had to deal with, let's call him a collector. My dad was a collector. There's a show over here about those collectors, that have too much collecting. And I had
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's called hoarders.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say collector, but it was way beyond that. And I didn't know this had gone on to this point because I hadn't been up in Michigan, which is where I'm from, for some time. And I was absolutely stunned at what I saw. And I had to deal with this because my brother was physically not capable. And so I was really on my own, having to just deal with the fact that I had to make a decision to let my father die because he was not going to make it. And I walk into this house and it really impacted me. But the thing that impacted me the most was I started going through all of their stuff, and both my parents had kept diaries from for 50 years. They've been married over 50 years. And I found notes and all these things. And so I started to read them. And I was blown away because in 50 years, it was pretty much the same story over and over and over again. Total dissatisfaction with their own lives. Now, they had a wonderful life. They were wonderful parents. I grew up in a very Midwestern family, supportive, loving, always, giving. But they never did anything really truly for themselves. And my dad was very dissatisfied, and I realized they're gone. And they can never take that back. That life, that opportunity was gone. And I thought, even though, like I said, I was always living a fabulous life myself, was I really enjoying it at that point? So I quit investment banking after 25 years. I think people thought I'd lost my mind. And I wrote a book. I was a writer. I've had a writing award since I was in elementary school. So it was a talent that I always had, but was never really encouraged to create a career because you don't make money as a writer, generally speaking. So I write this book, and it got a couple of awards. It was a bestseller. And within a few months, it was a television movie. And so my agent said, I don't think you understand that this is unheard of, just to for a first time writer, and for that to happen in a few months. Usually, if you're lucky, they'll option it and sit on it for 7 years. And that just sort of opened the gateway for me to say, okay, what else do I want to do? And I'm going to segue in the SFM, in a minute here, but I want to share a couple of things about what I want to share is there are definitely keys to success. And I know you guys know them, and I think everybody else probably knows them, but we don't implement them in our lives. I'll never forget when I was in elementary school, and I've never told anybody this, and it's a silly little story, but I was in elementary school, and there was a zoning change. And so all the kids that I knew and grew up with went to another school, and I went to the school by myself with all the new kids, I was the new kid, and they all knew each other. But they were voting for the executive board, and somehow I got nominated. And I thought, okay, this is cool. And I was a little shy, believe it or not, at the time. And so
good to see you've gotten over that.
Yeah, I did.
Good job.
Amazing. Yeah. And so I it came time to vote, and I was always brought up that you always put other people first. My dad was an engineer, you know, family man. Mom stayed at home, you know, give, do the right thing. So came time to vote. Believe it or not, I voted for the other girl because that was the right thing to do. I mean, in my head, that was the right thing to do. I'd never been in a situation like that. And of course, you know what I'm going to say. I lost by one vote, and it was mine. Yeah, it was mine. That was sort of one of those defining moments where you realize, you know, it's okay to vote for yourself. It's okay to vote for yourself, and it's okay to be successful. You don't take away from anybody else by being successful and voting for yourself. And I think we go through life in this traditional way of thinking that, oh, well, if I'm wealthy, then that's wrong because I'm going to take away from these people. And abundance is endless. And I already knew that. And I realized I'm never going to do that again. And so I pretty much from that day forward went after everything, you know, 100%. And one of the keys to my success was that it didn't matter what anybody told me. If I wanted something, I would go after it anyways. Mm-hmm. Starting with, I tried out for the NBA, that's the pro basketball cheerleading team here. And the stadium was loaded with thousands of girls, and they were only going to pick 2 because they were picking replacements. I couldn't even do a backflip. You know, I mean, seriously, I was a cheerleader in high school, but I wasn't the one, you know, doing the fancy stuff. And, you know, people will tell you, oh, do you know how many thousands of people are in there? You know, are you crazy? And it's like, but the attitude I think of most people is that don't bother trying, because you might fail. And then of course that feels bad. And so they don't want to put themselves in that position of supposedly feeling bad because we're told that's failure. Well, I figured, I have nothing to lose. And of course I got it. I went to University of Michigan, and I applied for, I wanted a writing scholarship on Capitol Hill. And I was told all the positions were filled. I submitted my application way too late. I didn't even know about the program till much later. And I, of course, have the attitude that, okay, so what? If there's one chance out of a billion that I can get in there, I'm going to. So I submitted my application anyways. And 1 week before the internship started, I got a call from Capitol Hill, and the Congressman Broomfield's office said, the Harvard student that had this position had another opening that he wanted. So he took it. That position's available. If you can get here in a week, you've got it. Yes. So I packed up my car, drove down to Washington, and I was actually a paid intern, which is, you know, very few interns are actually paid. So I got paid, and I got the position that I dreamed of, and it was a scholarship program. And I continue to live my life like that. I find it exciting. And, you know, if you don't get that position or whatever, I think people are so afraid to experience being human. They don't want the human experience. They want the perfect experience. We're probably going to,
They want it to be guarded and planned and secure, yes, and to know what's going to happen. And they're willing to trade that security, yes, for mediocrity.
Yes. It's like, I tell people, if you didn't want the human experience, you shouldn't have come here, get off the planet, because that's, you know,
you make friends. You make so many friends when you tell people that, I'm sure.
I know. It's like, I think Mars is recruiting people, you know, maybe it's better there. I don't know.
Elon Musk needs astronauts.
There's 32 missions. I tell people that. I said, you know, technology is like, their eyes glaze over, like, you know, there's been like 32 missions out to space now, and people are actually going up there. But so I think that, you know, we're so busy trying to get this perfect ending that we miss the experience. And I think the key to me really enjoying life and having so much success is I really enjoy the journey, and I accept it even when it doesn't feel so good. Mm-hmm. And I know that I'm limitless. So when somebody tells me something can't be done or it's difficult, even though I'm not saying I don't go through my own stuff, I'm willing to go through what it takes to go after my dreams. And it always works out. It always works out, because if it's not that thing, it'll take me to something greater. And I think I send that message to the universe, and that is, hey, this is great. Send me more good stuff. And I get it. So I've had an awesome life. If I died tomorrow, I've done stuff that people dream of doing. And I think it's just that attitude that I accept that this is a human experience and that we have nothing to lose. There's no such thing as failure, and that you need to vote for yourself.
Absolutely. Well, that's one thing that I got from Dan that I think it's a great way of looking at things as well. Is, what would I do if I was 10 times bolder? And it's much like you've been living your life that way the entire time. Yeah. But I just like Dan's phrasing on that. It's something that I try and keep in mind.
I love that you got that, Landria, from literally school, elementary school, picking up the whole idea that, there's no such thing as failure. And if you want something bad enough, then you decide to go for it no matter what, and don't think, oh, if I fail, then, people are going to judge me, or, this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. It's like, no, screw that. If you want it, go for it, and do your best to make it happen. And you got that lesson from such an early age. And I think that what you've done in your life, I'm guessing as a result of that and other things as well, but I'm guessing that had a big part in it. It's just incredible to hear about all the achievements that you've had on your journey as a result of that.
Yeah.
So go on.
No, I was going to say, and what the advice that you gave Steve, I look at it this way. I sit people down and I say, well, okay, what are your options? Are you happy where you are now? Are you living out those dreams? What are your options? Is it staying there? To me, that's much more painful than going after something and not having it turn out the way I want it to. There's such a great satisfaction and learning curve and experience that comes from that. And people, when they actually go out into that, they realize how exhilarating and positive it is, and that they're actually feeling like they actually have control of their lives for a change.
Yeah. Yeah. And if nothing else, they're closer. There aren't failures. I like to look at it differently than failing and succeeding. They're just results.
Yeah.
If I try something and I don't get the result that I wanted, I simply modify my actions to get a different result that I want. Because obviously what I did didn't get me the result that I wanted. It's just a learning experience.
Isn't that what every entrepreneur, inventor, anybody who's ever been crazy successful just looks at it as this fun journey game of solving the puzzle to get to it really, that's how they look at it. It's like, oh, I solved the puzzle, that didn't work. And they actually enjoy that journey. The inventors and brilliant people, they don't even go to that space of, oh, this isn't working out. They're feeling back. I'm sure they have doubts. We all have doubts. We all go through the frustration. But again, I think that they embrace that too in a positive way. And
it's like, how many times did Edison, try and invent the light bulb before he succeeded?
Yeah.
1,001, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah. And you hear what he says. It was just, one less attempt at elimination of getting to the final result, which he knew he would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and that's so key is knowing that you can do it, having that faith in yourself or in a system or a process, whatever it is, to know that you can do it.
Yeah.
When you don't have that belief, it's a lot more difficult and I think that's something that you got early on. You believed in yourself, probably instilled by your parents. I don't know, but having that belief in yourself is so important, and you can create that if you weren't innately born with it. But that's really important, knowing that you can do it. So when you came, you had this incredible change in your life and decided to make a turn in what you were doing with your life. You came across the SFM. What was it, if you can remember, what clicked for you? Why the SFM? I'm sure you saw thousands of other things. Given your background, you probably had a ton of options. Why the SFM?
So it's funny because what you're talking about, all these things that we're talking about is that, yes, my personality, I naturally am a go-getter. I took that experience and it completely took me and opened up the gateways of who I really am. So a lot of people will say, well, you're just naturally this or naturally. I'm saying absolutely not. This is in everybody, and everybody has this ability. And if, faith is, you either believe you can do something or you don't. Because if there's any doubt in there, that's called hope. That's not faith. You have to really go after it 100%. But the people that don't have this natural go-getter, nobody's gonna stop me attitude, for me, SFM represents that platform for those people. For people like me too, because I was off on my own. I had nobody to go to. I was always the boss. And all those clients like you, Steve, there's no freedom in that. All these guys that own their businesses, the opposite of freedom.
Yeah.
They're having heart attack. I'm sure you've heard the stories on, Wall Street. I mean, people were getting murdered, having heart attacks, just crazy. I knew a guy who shot his wife. I was in one of those offices that they came in and opened up fire in Dean Winter in Michigan, and there's still bullet holes in the desks. I mean, this kind of atmosphere drives people to insanity.
Yeah.
And there's no support system there. It's really this dog eat dog, work harder, and play is not really play. It's just, trying to dull the pain of what life's turned into. and so I did have control over my life, and I always picked good clients, but that stress and that pressure never went away because I was always, like I said, the person in charge everybody went to. Now, I knew one thing, having been in the business for 25 years and funding other companies. Mm-hmm. I knew the technology companies were the ones doing well. And those are the guys that were working remotely. A lot of them didn't even have offices. They were working out of their homes. They were able to go on vacations. Even though a lot of them that had the bigger companies worked hard, I knew that whole technology, internet industry was not only where it's at, but it was just starting to exponentially explode. And I knew I had to get on board with it, even though that petrified me because that was not my thing. But I knew that no matter what I wanted to do, if I had this book, how was I going to reach audiences to sell the book? How did people know I was there? Mm-hmm. So I knew I had to learn it. And when I connected to the SFM, I saw an ad by Stu. I'm one of those people never clicks on anything. I saw Stu and I saw a person who was genuine and who was speaking from his heart, not trying to sell me something, but trying to share a tool that obviously, we all flourish from this business. That's part of the equation, obviously, because that gives us financial freedom. But I saw the community and the support system that I had never had in 25 years of my career, because we were all power people working and struggling and whatever. And that whole community existed. And not only just for me, I was in with other entrepreneurs who decided to give up that crazy world. And then I was with people I saw that never had an entrepreneurial bone in their body, couldn't relate to it, but knew that they were tired of working for somebody else who could give them the pink slip. And that's happening, as you know, big time. In fact, we're going to see it explode in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
20 million people are going to lose their jobs in 2020 to technology driven jobs. And I saw this community that could support anybody on any level, not just from a, here's how you do this, here's how you set up a business, but a real support system that says, okay, we need to set some goals. There is a mindset here that has to be in place. These entrepreneurs that maybe naturally are go-getters like me, you can learn how to do that and have the support system around you that's going to help you get through that. Even if it's not your natural personality. It's okay. We're going to have that whole support system where you can go to other people and say, how do I do this? How do I create that plan? For me, it was like, now, how do I scale? My business is awesome. How do I scale it? Because even though I know how to run companies and I tell people how to do that, I show them how to do that, the technology-driven business is different. And I need those experts there to show me that. And not only was I shocked, it wasn't just the mentors that were showing me how to do it. It was all the other members. And I'm not used to that. In my world, everybody's a competitor. You don't tell your secrets. You don't share your stuff with them. You don't share your Rolodex, unless they're paying you. And I see this completely different mindset of people that are in a world that I want to live in. That's one that we really give a hoot about each other. We really are caring, and that's really where we're coming from first, because at the end of the day, the rest of the stuff is just a bonus. And when you get up and you feel good, you love what you do, you love who you're working with, you feel safe, and then you're with people that are making money, they're successful. Wow, it was just a no-brainer for me, and it's been over a 2-year journey that has been, of course, I've had ups and downs because I've had to learn a lot of new things, but I'm so empowered now, way beyond what I felt when I was an investment banker.
Yeah, I think that environment is so difficult for some entrepreneurs to get used to. And also even people who are coming from the employee, because, Dan coming from sales, it's not like you'd reach across the sales room floor and go, hey, buddy, I've got a sale for you. Here's how you can do it.
Yeah.
That's not how the rest of the world operates. So it can be an adjustment for people coming into the SFM and realize that, there's somebody there who's, like you said, either the leadership or somebody alongside you who's going to go, oh yeah, I can help you with that. Here's how and you just have to ask.
Well, the other thing too is, and I was not prepared for this. First of all, a completely new career opened up for me. I had to open up a YouTube channel, and I thought, who's going to relate to somebody who was, hanging out with celebrities on private jets? Oh, wah.
Poor thing.
It's a good problem. It's a good problem to have, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, talk to the hand. Oh, poor little girl. But no, I thought, wait a minute. The dilemma is still the same, and that is, I don't care if you're, in a mansion on a hill or you're on the streets. If you're really unhappy with your life, you're not really fulfilled in what you're doing, you have to find a solution. And that's what SFM did. It gives people solutions, very individualized, because we all have our own individualized brands and businesses. So it's not like we're clones coming in. I think a lot of people you come in and you're doing these programs. It's not like that at all. You actually create your own individual business. In fact, SFM encourages that. So here I get on this YouTube channel. I thought I need to talk about that. And it turned into like this spiritual channel. I've got over 1 million people that view me. And that shocked the heck out of me. And I went, okay, this is interesting. And I realized how many people are out there that really want and need that. And so it's been this really interesting, transition and experience for me to really come into my own. And now that's a completely different business that I'm expanding on that's helping a lot of people. And it feels really good.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, one thing just off the back of everything you said there that I want to pick up on is, for, I think, a lot of people coming into SFM, the mindset stuff is the biggest challenge, right? Most people coming through, they've got a lot to work on. They've got limiting beliefs. They've got to overcome fear. They've got all this stuff. Yeah. But you've been doing that your whole life anyway. Yeah. So you're naturally on top of that stuff. So for you, Landria, what was your biggest challenge when you were sort of, coming into the SFM and working through the first few months? What was the main thing that you had to overcome?
Well, obviously there are some things that, for me, it was never really so much the mindset in the beginning. We're all excited in the beginning, and then a lot of people realize this is a real business, and I already knew that. I knew that it was going to take work just like another business. And when you understand that and you're willing to put the work in, you're going to be okay. Because like I said, there's no reason not to succeed at SFM. I mean, if you don't succeed, it's just either not your thing, you need to go back to whatever, or you just really did, or we'll see you, you'll be back. A lot of these people, they come back, they're like, that get rich quick stuff isn't out there, But for me, I remember being on with tech support one day, and Brenda heard this silence. She said, "Are you there?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, honey, are you crying?" And I said, "Yeah." I have 3 scholarships and I'm not getting this. And she said, "It's okay. We're going to walk you through it." And because I wanted to learn this stuff myself, because you don't have to do that. You don't have to know all the technical stuff. There are other ways to get that done. But I wanted to know it because that's me. And they got me through that. They got me through the toughest part of not understanding that world that I'd never been exposed to. And then I actually, not only do I love it, I get on with my team members. I just did it Friday. I spent 2 hours with a guy and we built his site. And he was so excited. He'd been working on it for like a couple of weeks. He was so excited. He got off. It looked beautiful and it was him. I said, "This needs to be you." We got his picture up. He's a musician. His picture, his story. And it felt so good for me to do that. And that's like anything. I don't care what you do in life. You've got to learn those skills. And you've got to accept it. We don't think twice about spending 4 years and, tens of thousands of dollars for college. And then we come out and we're baristas, at Starbucks or whatever. And that's a big problem. But I'm going to tell you something. The other thing too, and I think some people deal with this, I had to decide if I was going to own this or not, because there's a stigma with this industry. At least there was. I think that's going away really quick. And that is, here's an investment banker that's doing affiliate marketing. Let's just say it. I'm doing affiliate marketing, internet marketing, even though I've got other businesses online that I've learned to do through SFM.
Yeah.
I had to decide if I was going to own it or not. So I thought, you know what? Not only do I believe in this, this is going to explode, and I'm already on the cutting edge, and SFM's doing it in a cutting edge kind of way. They're giving the real education, not that, hey, here's some tools, good luck, try and figure out. This is like going to school. This is like the support. It's everything. And so I opened up 2 websites with my name. I'm the only Landria Onkka on the face of the earth, by the way. And so that was easy.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I took those 2 websites out, and the channel is under my name, and I owned it. And the response I got when I'm on with, because I still do, I still have businesses and work with technology people and that whole world I was in another capacity. But I was on with this tech group, this guy that owns this tech company, and he said, "So I see that you you Google me, you can see it's all over the place. I see that you do internet marketing." He goes, "You're doing affiliate marketing." I see, "Yeah." And he goes, oh, after we have our meeting, I want to talk to you about that. I said, "Why?" And he said, "Landria, that is such a huge market." He said, "Not only do we need to bring that on to our platform, which is going to explode our sales, but he said, we need to work with other companies so that we're not having to create the products and compete with them. We're just going to pick the best products, include it in our portfolio, and get paid for that and let them run those platforms." And I said, "Yeah, you get this." He says, "Do I get it?" He said, "Everybody's talking about this. The internet marketing, affiliate marketing programs," he said, "are so legit and, legitimate education systems and businesses. And the fact that individuals can do this is just awesome." And he got it. And everybody I've talked to, it's just been so positive in my industry, who says, "You guys are on the cutting edge." And all of us who are now operating up and running, now everybody's going to go, "Oops, we better get on board with this."
Yeah.
We're going to already be established, and hopefully can teach them. But so we're way ahead of the game, and I hope other people understand.
Was that the complete opposite of how you thought
Yeah.
would respond?
I mean, I'm talking about, reincarnation and stuff on my spiritual channel. I've got affiliate marketing over here. They're probably thinking, oh yeah, she lost it. She finally lost it. Yeah.
You know
and
what,
investment
Landria?
banking. Yeah, 25 years.
What's really going on in their heads is, oh my gosh, I can so relate to her. I get this. This makes such sense. And it's funny, the difference between the stories of what we think they're going to think and what they're really thinking.
Steve, I've had more of my close colleagues, very established guys, get on the phone with me and said, I got to get out of this. How did you do it?
Yeah.
I got to get out of this stuff.
Yeah. You can be that lifeline for those people so that they don't have the heart attack at 50.
Yeah.
Help all those people get out and literally save their lives.
Yes. Yeah. Mostly in their family lives too. I see that just going down the tubes, and it's sad. So there's an option, and it's like you want to shake people and say, it's right in front of you. It's happening at lightning speed, So either they're going to be forced to do it, and that's not a good position to be in. Or the beauty of this is you can be doing this and not give up the day job. It's not like you have to do what I did. You don't have to make a radical change,
And to be clear, you made a radical change, but you also kept some of your clients, some of your other business, it sounds like. None. No, you just...
I had a Series 7 in 66. They expired at midnight, and I thought I'd flip out because nobody wants to ever take those exams again because you have to be licensed, right?
Yeah.
I slept like a baby. It was like somebody unloaded, because I knew that what I was learning, I was going to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew no matter what, that education was going to empower me and that I could apply it to pretty much anything I wanted to do, anything, including going to traditional businesses, those business owners that I knew were struggling, and say, listen, you got to get on board with this. You've got to learn this stuff, for your own business, So I just knew it was huge, and I knew I was going to make it work. And like I said, it's not without its challenges, just like anything in life, but it's been pretty awesome.
That's pretty brave to let those licenses go.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's committing, isn't it? That's committing to your new path and what you're doing. And you know what? It's so interesting as well, Landria, to hear about your views and also the response of people, very high up people that you're working with and that your contacts relating to affiliate marketing. Because like you're saying, before, I think there's been a sort of a stigma in the industry, like online business. It's almost like a bit gimmicky. It's not like a real, it's not like a real career path or whatever. But to hear you say that as well, that was one of the biggest reasons that I got into this. Because I was thinking, well, look, I could build my own company. I could do my own thing. I get 100% revenue. And let's say I've got 60% operating costs, but I have to run the entire business myself. Or I can be an affiliate for a company, get 40% commission, and they run the entire business. So it's like you're still getting the profit, but you don't have to run the business. Someone else does that. I was like, it's a no-brainer. Well, why are more people not doing this? And so the fact that people are catching on is brilliant to hear.
Dan, I'm glad you brought that up, because just before I quit, I was working a lot on franchises. I had some huge franchises, and these business owners came to me to save them. Yeah. Because I'm the money person. I'm the one that brings the money in and helps them get back on their feet or growth or whatever it is they're doing. And so that was the old business model of working for yourself and having somebody else own the business ultimately, but you own your own business. But people are finding out, wait a minute, that's not really working either, because I'm working more. I own it, but the franchise ultimately owns it. So if they sell it off, they're the ones making the billions of dollars, and I'm still responsible for mine. And there's not sometimes a lot of assistance. I saw that was a problem. They weren't giving those franchises the assistance. They're working 12, 14 hours, employing people, having the overhead costs, all that stuff. And I was like, where's the solution there? There wasn't any. And then, by the way, the investment was huge on most of those. Big. I literally worked with people that lost millions of dollars. We had to make decisions, and I said, get out now. You're going down, and that was constantly happening. I thought, this is like the best of both worlds, right? You don't own it. And that whatever you put in, what you invest in is an education. It's not a piece of equipment that's going to be, obsolete next month. It's something nobody's going to ever take that away from you. And SFM, as you know, keeps us up on what's going on out there. And here's the good part about those scams and schemes. Google and all the regulators online are starting to crack down on that. And that's working in our advantage. So they're starting to go away. And it's like the securities industry. You're seeing a lot of the garbage go away because the securities industry cracked down. So people like me loved that. I kept saying, I'm always doing the right thing and the crooks are making all the money, but then they eventually went to jail. In the finance industry, you saw that all happening. And that's all, the world's changing that way. And it's like, we're not tolerating that kind of, get money off of people and then leave them standing there holding this empty bag. SFM really gives a hoot and gives you that whole, like you said, not having to manage all that stuff, having the freedom. And then of course, if you have other businesses, you can pick other fabulous products and services and add them. And if they mess up, take them out of your shopping cart or whatever it is you're doing. You don't have to continue on with that business.
And because because like you said, I think that's a great analogy with the franchises. It's not a piece of equipment. It's not somebody else's brand.
Right.
SFM isn't going anywhere, but if it did, we would all still have these skills and we could apply them. And 5 years from now, industry is going to be different. Our industry is going to be different 5 years from now, but we'll be able to grow over those 5 years and adapt the skills, because the basic skills of learning how to market and target an audience and those sorts of things aren't going to go away.
Right.
They never are. Because Landria, as you know, working with every business, running a business isn't really that difficult. Getting your customers is always the challenge. If you have a decent product, you can put people around any system. I don't care if it's building houses or cars or sandwiches. You can put systems around that and make it work.
Yeah.
As long as you have people coming in the front door to buy your product or service.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to marketing.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I came over to SFM, is because I saw that in my businesses over time. I was like, at the end of the day, marketing. And
that's
all it is.
Now I have a business owner that just joined, and he's like, seriously, he's on major overload. He joined just in time because this guy's going to eventually have a heart attack because he's running himself into the ground. And I said, so he's got this business that he bought out from a franchise, so that he would be his own brand, which was a smart thing. But now he has zero support, and so he doesn't know how to grow that business. And he's working 24/7. He's doing everything. He doesn't know how to delegate. So he's in that trap. And he wants to sell the business. And I said, why aren't you putting this online? So there's still that disconnect of what we're learning, that it applies to everything. And people are like, well, SFM is the brand. I said, no. SFM actually encourages us to be our own brand, to be Landria. And that, of course, the affiliate program is what I promote because I believe so strongly in it. That, I'm watching my friends who were millionaires, losing their homes now, not back when the market tanked. It's happening now.
Yeah.
They're super high level positions too. One owns a law firm, and it's sad. It's like, what's happening? Because they're not making that transition. And, we are our own brand, and we have to remember that every aspect of our life, including my book, my spiritual program, I was like, how do I teach people? Everybody wanted me to mentor them one-on-one. And I went, wait a minute, I can put this online and have one course and they can take the course. And I'm actually building that right now. And it's so exciting. And the tech part, I'm actually enjoying it. I'm learning how to edit videos and stuff, and I'm having so much fun. And then when I get stuck, I call you guys.
Yeah.
Help!
Yep.
You know, and I have this whole platform of people, because everybody's good at something, and they're like, well, you need to use this software, or here's some editing, or they'll shoot a video for me and post it and take me step by step through. I was like, this is brilliant. I love it. And SFM keeps building on that program for us. Some of the things that are going in place are like mind blowing. They're staying up on it so that we are up with the technology and communication with each other.
Well,
So,
it's one of the things I love about this the most, that you'll get like a mastermind group, and we'll have a bunch of people who are, you know, some people who are in SFM promoting SFM, other people have their own businesses, other people are launching different businesses, and we'll be together. And me and Steve were in a call just the other day where we're discussing, you know, different ideas for bringing different businesses to market. And that kind of conversation where everybody's working together to come up with these creative ideas using the skills that we're learning to drive multiple businesses forward. I find it like, it's like a puzzle where, you know, everyone can work together to reach that outcome and get that success. And that community aspect is incredible. I know you've mentioned it a few times as well. So a final question that I want to ask, because obviously I'm conscious of your time as well, Landria. Given that, you know, you've come into this as a business owner, and you're, you know, working with business owners who maybe are coming into this as well, what final bit of advice would you give to someone who they're currently stuck in that trap that you mentioned? They're working in the business, maybe not on the business, or they're consumed 24 hours a day by the company that they built to create freedom, but actually it's trapped them, right? What final bit of advice would you give to someone who's in that position and doesn't know how to get out, and maybe isn't sure whether the SFM is going to be right for them?
well, first of all, we get to try it. We get to try it. So SFM allows people to come on for 30 days, and you get access to a lot. You get to talk to other people, see what the community is like, see what the platform looks like. I always tell people, I'm not going to stand here and talk to you. Get on it, because I know it's foreign to most people, even like business owners like me. It's like, did you know that when I joined, I didn't know what affiliate marketing was? I didn't even know that was an option. I was just joining to learn how to work online. Love it. Yeah, I didn't know it was an affiliate marketing program available to me. And I went, oh my God, no brainer. Of course I'm going to do that. Yeah. So I think that business owners have to make that transition from controlling their world and understand that world doesn't work anymore. And that by letting go, you're not losing control, you're actually gaining control. But you're going to have that support system by people on your level, because like I said, I was like, okay, who am I going to talk to? And then I find out we've got major dudes, you know, at SFM that gave up huge careers, PhDs and nuclear scientists, and this is attorneys, and you know who I'm talking about. Some of these guys, and business owners that get this, and I can not only make that transition with my own business, but collaborate now with, like you said, that group of people that I didn't have access to before, because it was the client, relationship. Yeah. And those business owners now can be on a even playing ground. And like you said, get into these groups and create some of the stuff we're coming up with. It's awesome. It's like, wait a minute, why don't you and I work on this program, and we'll incorporate these ideas and we'll launch that business. And it's going to expand them in ways they'd never imagined. And they can just try it and see. If it's not for them, God bless them. But SFM, for me, there's no other platform like SFM. It's such a high level quality. I say spiritually driven, whether somebody's into that or not. To me, it's just like a really caring community of movers and shakers. It's pretty awesome.
Definitely. I agree. And, that definitely comes from top down. Dan and I had that experience at 10 for 10. You can't buy a ticket to. You earn your way there.
Yes.
It was very humbling, an incredible experience. And I know you'll be there on the next one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Landria, I really appreciate your time. Dan, do you have any other questions? Is there anything we need to cover?
I have no more questions. I think some of the insights that you shared have been unbelievably powerful. So thank you so much, Landria, for your
Thank
time and for sharing in the way that you have. It's much appreciated.
Thanks so much. I love working with you guys. I can't wait to continue this relationship and have more fun. And that's the other thing. We didn't mention all the fun.
Exactly. How do we not
And the
mention
events.
fun?
Yeah, and the events and the beach parties and all this fun stuff. It's really cool. Yeah, that's even a bonus on top of everything else. So
Definitely. Well, again, Landria, thank you so much. I know this is going to be a real inspiration for a lot of people. I really enjoyed spending time with you again.
Same here.
Same.
Have a great day. See everybody next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.